Okay, so I obviously can't do this while I'm playing guitar. Here we go. Move all you mountains that stand in my way. Nothing can stop my progress. Move all you mountains that stand in my way. Nothing can stop my progress. All trees fall aside, every rebel I slash with the sword of freedom. No trees fall aside, every rebel I slash with the sword of freedom. Move all you mountains that stand in my way. Nothing can stop my progress. Move all you mountains that stand in my way. Nothing can stop my progress. Tall trees fall aside, every rebel I slash with the sword of freedom. Tall trees fall aside, every rebel I slash the sword of freedom. One more time. Move all you mountains that stand in my way. Nothing can stop my progress. Move all you mountains that stand in my way. Nothing can stop my progress. Tall trees fall aside, every rebel I slash with the sword of freedom. Tall trees fall aside, every rebel I slash the sword of freedom. Tall trees fall aside, every rebel I slash with the sword of freedom. Tall trees fall aside, every rebel I slash with the sword of freedom. Well done. That's great. Okay. So I'm going to sing this beautiful song inspired by Mary Magdalene. And when you hear the reading today, you'll understand why I chose this song. And actually, this is the introductory song from the oratorio to the Song of Mary Magdalene, and it's called The Joy of Redemption. The joy of redemption, once in a dead land, was Mary of Magdala, Christ saved. So purity she gained by devotion and by faith. By repentance she was pardoned in love. I'm going to do it again because it's just so sweet. Listen to the words. The joy of redemption, once in a dead land, was Mary of Magdala, Christ saved. So purity she gained by devotion and by faith. By repentance she was pardoned in love. Okay, now we'll have a couple of chants to go into meditation. I awake in thy light. I awake in thy light. I awake in thy light. I am joyful, I am free. I awake in thy light. I awake in thy light. I awake in thy light. I am joyful, I am free. I awake in thy light. I awake in thy light. I awake in thy light. I am joyful, I am free. Sitting up straight in a meditative posture, spine erect, shoulders back, chest up, chin parallel to the floor, relaxed but alert. And try to go into a deep, open, meditative space, even as we're chanting this song. Come out of the darkness, Mother. Feel that there's a bright light in your forehead, the spiritual eye, and call to the Divine Mother with all your heart. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Dive deep. We'll meditate for 5 minutes. Waste no time. If your mind starts to wander, bring it back to the light. The center of your forehead at the spiritual eye. Point between the eyebrows. And envision a bright silvery star in a deep blue field with golden light surrounding it, shining. This is a seat of Christ consciousness, the point of superconsciousness.
Remaining in a meditative state, please listen to this week's affirmation for self-healing: willingness. Willingness must be cultivated deliberately. It is an attitude of mind and depends not on outward conditions. Most people are willing or unwilling depending on their likes and dislikes. This habit tends to develop a bias towards unwillingness, which gradually becomes chronic and attracts to itself chronic failure. Don't wait for favorable circumstances to awaken willingness in you. Train yourself in the attitude of saying yes to life. Often, by this simple attitude, you will find success arriving unexpected at your door. Now, please repeat after me in a loud voice, awakening the conscious mind. I welcome everything that comes to me.
I welcome everything that comes to me
As an opportunity for further growth.
as an opportunity for further growth.
And now in a conversational tone. I welcome everything that comes to me.
I welcome everything that comes to me
As an opportunity for further growth.
as an opportunity for further growth.
And now in a whisper, bringing the affirmation into the subconscious mind. I welcome everything that comes to me.
I welcome everything that comes to me
As an opportunity for further growth.
as an opportunity for further growth.
And now silently, I welcome everything that comes to me as an opportunity for further growth. And now with deep concentration at the point between the eyebrows, bringing the affirmation into super consciousness, again, silently affirm, I welcome everything that comes to me as an opportunity for further growth. I welcome everything that comes to me as an opportunity for further growth. Lord, help me to overcome the satanic pull of unwillingness. The more I embrace life in your name, the more I feel your joy.
A reading from Rays of the One Light, weekly commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita. Week 16, to each according to his faith. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. In the Gospel of St. John, chapter 3, we read, everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they are wrought in God. It is a common experience shared by most people that when a person errs, he experiences a desire to hide that error from his conscience instead of holding it up for purification. Error clutches its misdeeds to itself and resists correction, though it is only in the state of purity that we can achieve perfect freedom. It requires an act of will to offer that awareness up to the light and to hold it there until one's inner darkness is completely dissipated. For every state of consciousness has its own attractive power. And the more we allow that attraction to act upon us, the more we attract to ourselves the objective circumstances and experiences natural to it. Our faith is the attractive power of our underlying state of consciousness. Goodness attracts goodness. It takes goodness even to see goodness. Evil attracts evil, and it takes evil even to see evil. That is, to take special note of its existence. Whatever there is in you of darkness or light, offer it up to the heights. In the supreme light alone will we find salvation. Accept nothing less than yourself as your lasting reality. As the Bhagavad Gita says in the 12th chapter, cling thou me, clasp me with heart and mind, so shalt thou dwell surely with me on high. But if thy thought droops from such heights, if thou be best weak to set body and soul upon me constantly, despair not. Give me lower service. Seek to reach me, worshiping with steadfast will. And if thou canst not worship steadfastly, work for me, toil in works pleasing to me. For he that laboreth right for love of me shall finally attain. But if in this thy faint heart fails, bring me thy failure. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om. Om. Om.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dhuti, and if you don't know me, and I reside mostly in Ananda, but Rhode Island is where I was born and raised, and then when I was 24, I moved to Ananda Village in California, and now I travel around a lot. So I'm happy to be here with you and online, and in a month, 5 weeks, I'll be with you there live. Very exciting weekend. We'll talk about that later. Let's begin with this reading from Whispers from Eternity. This is number 170. Teach me to drown in thy light and live, inspired by a Hindu song. I come to thee with the song of my smiles. Whatever treasures have lain in the secrecy of my soul, I bring eagerly to thee. I bring thee all the honey from the hive of my heart. All that was ever mine is now thine alone. The sunlight of this world, shining upon my eager hopes and brief, fickle fulfillments, burned me repeatedly with dissatisfaction. Now I will quench my thirst forever in thy radiant waters. The taper of my aspiration toward happiness will burst aflame with thy coming into a conflagration of bliss. In thy vast enchanting sea of light, I will swim joyfully forever. Teach me to drown in thee and live, rather than live in a mirage paradise of earthliness and die. Well, I have to say this is certainly my favorite passage from the Bhagavad Gita. It's so sweet and supportive and kind and accepting, and there's encouraging and there's no judgment. This is God accepting of all that we are, even our failures. Let me read this last part to you again. right before Swamiji quotes this passage from the Bhagavad Gita, he says, "Whatever there is in you of darkness or light, offer it up to the heights. In the supreme light alone will we find salvation. Accept nothing less in yourself as your lasting reality. Accept nothing less in yourself as your lasting reality." As the Bhagavad Gita says in the 12th chapter, "Cling thou to me, clasp me with heart and mind. So shalt thou dwell surely with me on high. But if thy thought droops from such height, if thou beest weak to set body and soul upon me constantly, despair not. Give me lower service. Seek to reach me, worshiping with steadfast will. And if thou canst not worship steadfastly, work for me. Toil in works pleasing to me. For he that laboreth right for love of me shall finally attain. But if in this thy faint heart fails, bring me thy failure." Master said about these lines, he said, "These lines are what make the Gita so sweet, sympathetic, and useful in healing the manifold sicknesses of suffering of humanity." So we are first given the highest ideal, what we aspire to. Cling to me with heart and mind, and never let your mind stray from me. A devotee asked Swami Kriyananda, "Is it difficult to find God?" And Swami said, "Oh no, all you have to do is bring 100% of your attention to the spiritual eye." So it sounds so easy. We just always keep our attention at the spiritual eye, no matter what. But if we are not able to do that, then we just serve willingly, and give the fruits of our actions to God, and know that our intent is good, and we are aspiring, of course, to do it in the highest way, but we're human, and the reason we're here is because we're human, and we're still learning, and we're still caught up in our desires and our attachments and our failures. So we serve as best we can. And even if we can't serve, then we bring whatever we can or can't do. We just bring it all to God. We're constantly offering up our lives, our hearts, our service, our intention to God. And what gets us into trouble is our failures and dwelling on our failures. And that is the trick. And that's really just our egos. I mean, we all fail. We wouldn't be here if we weren't, if we were perfect. So, for instance, when Swamiji would start a song and he might make a mistake at the beginning, and so he would just stop and start all over again. And because he didn't leave his attention on the mistake, it was gone. It had just evaporated. And because he just, picked himself up and tried again, and that's what you're left with. And it's just a good example of no matter what we do, we have to leave it behind us, our failures, our missteps, our mistakes, and not dwell on them, because that's when we dwell on them, then there's magnetism and energy on them, and then that attracts more of the same. So this is why meditation is such a wonderful tool. Meditation and music. Of course, I'm going to say something about music here. So, well, first of all, we have to remember in the chakras, we have all these little sticky seeds that are left there in the chakras, the energy vortexes of desires and things that are not fulfilled, and our failures and our attachments and all these things, they come back with us lifetime after lifetime. And through meditation, through Kriya, we are able to slowly burn up these seeds and clear ourselves, clear the channel up, so that our energy can flow more easily up. And that's the idea. Again, just keep offering everything up into the light, into the spiritual eye. If we can keep our attention at the spiritual eye 100% of the time, then yes, God is not difficult to find, as Swamiji said. So the purpose of our life is to get close to that light, to keep opening up the doors however we can. And we're all so different, and we all have different things that motivate us and inspire us. And so this is not something set in stone. I mean, there are obvious steps along the way, and meditation is a really important step, because from when we're in meditation, we can detach ourselves. And when we do techniques, they can help to dissolve our attachments and our desires. And likewise with music. Music, because it is a vibration. And if you think about, I'm sure people have seen these different experiments that they've had, where they'll have like a plate of sand, and then they'll put a vibration into the plate, either through music or movement, or I think it's music. And the sand all moves to an incredible formation. I mean, the idea that music is a vibration, it's sound. This world was started with sound, the sound of Om. All these things can generate an energy, can magnetize and shift and move. They can help to move and dissolve the vrittis in our chakras as well, and help to uplift us, and they can bring us down as well. So I've used this example many times. I'm sure people will laugh. I say it again, but it's such a great example of attunement, is when you have a string and a wooden instrument, usually with string, the vibration of the strings moving, say for a guitar or violin or cello, one of these kinds of instruments, the wood actually changes because of being played. The more that you play a wooden instrument like that, the sweeter the tone becomes. And it's because of that vibration of moving the wood. It actually changes the quality of it. And that is just like our lives. And with, being devotees of great masters who can help to show us a way, and are always there in a loving, unconditional manner, we slowly tend to let go of our mistakes. And instead of being ashamed or embarrassed of them and hiding them, we all have baggage and karma. And our tendency as humans is to try to hide it. And but again, that doesn't solve it. So it's not that you have to advertise it. Oh, I was really frustrated. Somebody really annoyed me, and I used some colorful language. I'm not going to necessarily announce that in a Sunday service talk. No, but you get the idea. It's not that you want to dwell on it and even like make a big deal out of it. You just want to accept it as part of life's journey. And the more that we can just do our best, pick ourselves up, and just keep raising our energy, raising our intentions and our expectations. So I think this is a beautiful story, and it's fun for us from the East Coast, because when Master first came to the U.S. in 1920, in the city of Sparta, landing in Boston, and most of us have been there, to that Chelsea harbor where the boat landed. And here he was young, he was 27. And he's dressed in orange robes and an orange turban. And he's walking around, totally different country than India. Everyone is materialistic. What a shock that must have been. And then he met Dr. Lewis. It was Dr. Lewis who had seen him and wanted to meet him, and had a friend arrange that. And so Dr. Lewis was a very philosophical, theosophical man, and he had a lot of questions. And it was Christmas Eve, 1920. So Master had been in this country just 3 months. And Dr. Lewis was very cautious and maybe even a little skeptical. Who is this strange man? Does he just want my money? But he asked him about that passage in the Bible. If thine eye be single, thy whole body will be filled with light. And he didn't understand that passage, and Master explained it. And, in the yogic tradition, which, as we are focusing on the light and our spiritual eye, then yes, our whole body is it can't help it. It's, again, the power of magnetism. We keep our energy our magnetism is where our energy is. So, and then Master explained it, and then they sat down, and Master placed his forehead on Dr. Lewis's forehead, and this is what they would do in India, and he saw the spiritual eye. Dr. Lewis saw that brilliant silvery star in the deep blue field with a golden orb around it. He had an experience of cosmic consciousness. And then Master said, now I can take charge of your life. And he told him, don't close yourself to me. Don't avoid me or hide. And keep your heart open. So this is what we need to do. God is our dearest friend and our mother, unconditional, loving mother, father, divine friend. And the more we give everything in our lives, include God in every part of our lives. That's why at Ananda, pretty much everything, we start with a prayer. Before eating, before meetings, of course, before meditating, before satsangs, and to remember and to include God in everything. So we need to surrender our lives and recognize and remember that everything that happens to us is exactly what is meant to happen, the good, the bad, the ugly, and have faith. And, I love the example of the GPS. The GPS, I have a brother who he doesn't like to bother himself with. He's much older and from a different generation. He doesn't like to bother with smartphones or even having a computer at home. He goes to the library, and of course he never uses GPS. And so he if he ever does have GPS, he might have this experience. So so initially with GPS, before we really developed our faith in it, it was a little skepticism. Well, I know the way. I've driven this way between New Hampshire and Boston thousands of times for the last 70, 80 years. And not me, but I'm speaking for my beloved brother. I'll just go my way, you know. And sometimes we'll be doing this travel together. I'll be in my own car and we're meeting somewhere, and I'll say, well, Bill, I'm going to do the GPS because the GPS will tell you if there's traffic, if there's accidents, if there's road work. The map might say, oh yeah, this looks a lot faster, but the road might not be in very good shape. But the GPS knows all. GPS is tuned in to the World Wide Web, the higher power. So I have had times where I put my faith in GPS and it did lead me wrong. And then I discovered that I had inadvertently put something like no toll roads or something like that in one of the settings. So we have to make sure that we are attuned to this higher power and surrender to it and have faith in it, have faith in the divine guidance. So this is probably a little out of the ordinary, but before I found Ananda music, and even since a little bit, I like to indulge in some other music that is uplifting and fun. And there's a bluegrass song. It's called Turn Your Radio On. And I love the words, so I'm just going to read you a few of them. Come and listen in to a radio station where the mighty hosts of heaven sing. Turn your radio on, turn your radio on. If you want to feel those good vibrations coming from the joy that His love can bring, turn your radio on, turn your radio on. And listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on and glory share. Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God and turn your radio on. There's a couple more verses, but I think you get the idea. It's a fun song to sing too. But that is the whole point. It's the attunement and surrendering and faith and picking ourselves up and just keep turning to the light, and don't let our egos get in the way. Don't get discouraged. Just keep on keeping on. And so I think that's about all I have to say in this subject for now, except for the song that I will sing during the offertory, which I'm going to need your help with. But first we'll have Kyle lead us in the prayer.
Please take what you'd like to give and place it in your right hand and repeat after me. Divine Mother, we offer to thee the fruit of our labors. Bless this offering, that it serve as a channel of thy light to truth-seeking souls everywhere. Om, peace. Amen.
Okay, this is a fun song of Swami Kriyananda's called Yes, It's Devil Worship. And for the chorus, how it's going to go is, let's see, so, gee. Okay, so the chorus goes, what we need is light, clap. That's your part. Brother, I've a faint suspicion you and I've been led astray, taught to drive the devil from us. We've invited him to stay. What we need is light, for we can't drive out the darkness with a stick, with a stick. No, we can't drive out the devil with a stick. Some proclaim all men are sinners, can't can't escape the devil's might. How their interest must intrigue him, they won't let him out of sight. What we need is light, for we can't drive out the darkness, talking sin. No, we can't drive out the devil, talking sin. Some of us were taught the slogan, social evils must be slain. But can anger drive out sorrow? How can passion conquer pain? What we need is light, for we can't drive out the darkness while we hate. No, we can't drive out the devil while we hate. Brother, have you ever wondered why the darkness lingers on? If we want to see the sunrise, let us turn and face the dawn. What we need is light, for we'll only best the darkness when we love. Yes, we'll only best the devil when we love. Now we'll have our Festival of Light.